Hi, everyone. Diana Rankin here. So good to see you. It's our Friday afternoon where we answer a question that somebody has sent in to us. And I have to say, this week came out of a conversation rather than one of your questions. And it's about karma. And it's interesting. And yes, you see our little beloved Piper back there. She's doing well. She's 10 and she's really, you'd think she's still a pup in many ways. But anyway, our question this week, excuse me, is a little bit different because it didn't come from our viewers. But please, if you have questions of a esoteric, universal nature, just stick them in the comments below. And we will answer those questions that Phillip, my spirit guide, what he has to say. It's a higher perspective often. And that's what this one is today. This actually came out of conversation I had with a friend about karma. And so I remembered that in one of Philip's wisdoms that I wrote back in 2020, it was about karma. So I looked it up, and here's what he has to say. I want to say that years ago, when I was doing my master's degree, it's in how the sacred is expressed across cultures and throughout history. Excuse me, my throat's a little, I feel fine. I'm just getting a little roughness in the throat, aren't I? And I found some differences. And so it was kind of a question, universal answer. So here's what Phillip has to say. Karma, by the Western mind, is more difficult to comprehend than by the Eastern mind. This is because karma comes forth from the Eastern mind's various religions. It was spoken of in the Rig Veda and the Upanishads. Those who follow Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, Jainism, Taoism, or other thought systems of Eastern philosophies and religions will notice a slight difference in the explanation of karma. This, in part, has contributed to the misunderstanding of karma. We shall give the simplest of explanations for ease of understanding. We shall use an experience you had this morning to offer an explanation as an illustration or story, if you will. So this was my conversation with Phillip, which is why he's talking about an experience I had this morning. And actually, this was back in 2020 of April. So, and then he says, here's what the experience was. But I think it helps us all understand through this experience that I had. Under his sleeping quarters, a raccoon and cat began verbal assaults at one another quite early in the morning. It was actually the middle of the night. You vowed to get all animals out from under your house. Is this correct? And I answered, yes, this is correct. I have a crawl space under my house. And so somehow the raccoons and the cats got the outdoor kitties, they're feral, got under the house and they were making a racket. It woke us up. I have indoor kitties and outdoor kitties. So these were the feral kitties. One time, again, going back a few years, a mother cat just showed up at my front door and said, I'm pregnant. Can my kitties stay here? And she would not let me get near her, but she went to the house I built her on the front porch and ate the food, of course, I put out. And she eventually left after the kitties were on their own. And one stayed, well, two stayed for a while. One, though, they didn't get along, so I had to build a house on the back porch as well. So we're down to just one now, little Andy. We'll see how feral cats, it's tougher for feral cats. And of course, you know, my indoor kitties they've left. They've gone over the Rainbow Bridge, but they're well received there and have good lives there, and they know how much they are still loved. Anyway, I get off that subject here. So here we go. Phillip goes on to say, you decided that when daylight came, you would put fencing around the areas where the animals were entering. Now we will look at intent and the planned action. Your intent is out of concern for any damage that might be caused to your living quarters by the animals. This is a good intent. You also want no harm to come to the animals. This is a pure intent. You have asked the raccoons to return to the vast woods and you provide for them. And you have asked the cat to return to the shelter you built for them. The action you plan to take to close up the holes where the animals enter is a pure action. But first, you must make sure the animals are not under the house. This is also pure intent. Everything so far is guided by intent of kindness, so the karma is good. You decide the best way to move any animal that is under the house is through noise. You choose an air horn. The action will produce fear in the animals and cause them to run. Your intent is to produce fear. This is not the karma you want. It produces what we call bad karma. When you use the air horn, by the way, this is the US, the American explanation, I think. It's the easy answer. It kind of makes it, kind of black and white. It makes it pretty easy to understand. Okay, Phillip goes on to say, when you use the air horn, it did not work. You became frustrated and went looking for another instrument of noise. You chose Tibetan cymbals. You have now chosen a sacred symbol for its sound. Had your thoughts been pure, your choice would have been right. Had your intent been to say a prayer for the animals and guide them out with soothing music of the bells, your karma would have been good. But your intent was to scare the animals. This intent produced bad karma. And using a sacred bells, what was I thinking? Phillip goes on to say, fortunately, you did not carry through the action and further create bad karma. Now let us look at what this means in your life. As you have seen, intent is as important as the deed or action. In one's life, you are always creating good karma and bad karma. Kindness, compassion, loving thoughts, and actions produce good karma. Meanness, cruelty, unloving thoughts, fear, anger all produce bad karma. Karma is played out later in this life as well as in another reincarnated life. For example, you are quite sensitive to sound, so you might have sound frightened you the way you intended to frighten the animals. This would help you understand the harm you intended to cause. It is for all to lead a good life. In this way, they create good karma in this life and in the next. Karma, in its simplest form, returns to us that which we choose to experience, shown through our thoughts and intentions and our deeds and actions. And I forgot to pull this out. We will get a message here. Hello, Akila. She says, hello, Diana, with a smile. So good to see you. Always good to see those of you who can come live. I'm always grateful for that. So that, my friend, is karma in its simplest form, returns to us that which we choose to experience as shown through our thoughts and intentions and our deeds and actions. So there's a little story on me when I wasn't producing such good karma. And I'm hearing left. I heard right, and then I heard very strong left. No, left. So if you heard left, we're in sync. If you heard right, that's a message you need to pay attention to. So this is page 218. Begin by knowing that you know. Begin by knowing that you know. That's the message for all of us. On the right side, it says, you do not have to stop a war by participating in it. Excuse me. You do not stop a war by participating in it. You do not stop a war by participating in it. And I think that kind of speaks to karma, doesn't it? That in its simplest form returns to us that which we choose to experience, shown through our thoughts and intentions and our deeds and actions. And hello, Sandra. She says, hello from Frankfurt. So good to see you. Love you both for coming on. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be able to see many of you live. And the question has been asked, is tomorrow my birthday? Yes, 11/11 is my birthday. And yes, I do have a big weekend planned, but I wanted to stay here and celebrate these moments together with you today. So thank you for those of you who could come. Thank you for your thumbs up. I appreciate that. And I so appreciate your live comments. And those of you who can't make it live, I appreciate your comments as well. So, my friends, remember, karma in its simplest form returns to us that which we choose to experience, shown through our thoughts and intentions and our deeds and actions. So, you go have a great weekend. I'm plan on doing that. Got some celebrations um, already in the works. So I love you all. Thank you for receiving the love we send to you, and thank you for the love you send to us. We love you. See you soon. Enjoy.